Hello and welcome to Not Gambling Advice, the baseball betting stream on the Just Baseball Network. It is August 14th. It's Monday, and I'm trying to win some bets. Loaded show for you all today. We got a recap of how we did on Friday. We're going to do a little update on the season-long Prize Picks entry because I think every Monday we got to start looking at this thing because it's coming down to the wire, and I'm sweating, and it's kind of awesome. But then also, I got a pick for you today on a small Monday slate. I got a Prize Picks entry. And then, if you can flash the leaderboard, producer Cohen, we have the 4 horses coming on, right? We got Mid-Major Matt, we got Javon, and we got Gino, and we got Ollie. Those are the people that you want on right now. Mid-Major Matt, what a rise to stardom. He is now second in the competition. Javon still sits in first. Gino's in third. Ollie's in fourth. I'm in fifth. Those are the only people giving you picks today. It's going to be a damn good stream, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a damn good stream, and it's brought to you by the Pikkit Sports App. Producer Cohen's going to put the link in chat. Download it. I mean, just download it. You're really going to want it during the NFL season because we know that in baseball, fading the public, there's not much of a public sharp side. Sometimes there is, more than often there's not. In the NFL, though, there certainly is, and you're going to want it. And if you want to start out the day with a little bit of money, why not, right? There was no day baseball, no way to make money unless you're betting on the Women's World Cup. I have no idea if it's even happening in the morning. But you can enter it into a raffle where you can win anywhere from $3 to $100. Bruce Cohen, I think it's time to recap Friday. Hey, that's, if we can make 0.05 units every day, what's 306? Let me do that on my calculator. What's 365 times 365 times 0.05? That's on pace for making 18 units in a year. Let's talk about why the Brewers didn't cover the run line. So funny enough, I mean, the Brewers hit Michael Kopech like I thought, right? But the problem was the White Sox really hit Corbin Burnes in this one. And as you can tell, remember when I wrote about Aaron Bummer being the unluckiest pitcher in Major League Baseball? He did more unlucky things. When it was tied at this point, it's not that I turned the game off, but I kind of stopped paying attention because when it gets to this point, but this is why, we're 2-1 on run lines this year with this one losing. Brewers still won, right, but didn't cover the run line. Just tough. I really like the number. Thought it was close. They got into extra innings. And, of course, the Brewers closed it out because the White Sox are poverty and the Brewers won, but we did not cover the run line. But how about this? But they still won the game, of course. Let's talk Royals. We faded Adam Wainwright. And, I mean, it's sad, right? He's 2 wins away from 200, and they're going to keep putting him out there. But, guys, at this point, he's an auto fade. Every single fifth day, we're probably going to be taking either the over, first 5. He just doesn't have it anymore. I mean, it's sad to see because he's a real legend of our game. But it's funny, this game got moderately close there, but, I mean, it's the second inning, and it was 9-0. But then, of course, it's 9-6 because the Royals bullpen is so otherworldly bad. But look at Salvi chugging along. Dang it. God, the Cardinals bullpen. I mean, it just can't even hold an outrageous lead. But the Royals bats, what am I telling you, people? They can hit righties at home. Also, shout out Wilson Contreras. Holy mackerel. But then we close it out. We love it. Atta baby Royals. A little plus money, dog. The Royals have been kind to us. But before we get into my game pick, let's update this Prize Picks entry. Okay. So, I gave this to you guys all at the beginning of the season. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. over 163.5 hits. He is projected 163. Now, I want to be clear. So what we use is Zip's projection model, which is on Fangraphs. And they're often a conservative model, right? So the overs, they're not quite what they should be. But the unders are the same thing, right? So Eloy Jimenez, maybe on another projection system, might be at 22 home runs. Kershaw, same thing. Jordan might be same thing. Semien, as long as he stays healthy. Cash. Jordan, I mean, what did I say? Under 37 and a half home runs. I said he would have to set his career record in home runs and be healthy all year. He was not healthy all year. Clayton Kershaw, fan of my L stint. He ain't getting to 165, and he's projected to go under. Eloy, same thing. Injuries. But Vladdy stayed healthy all year, but the dude's hitting like 270. Just not the Vladdy that I hope, but he's still right on pace. And then we have Shohei Ohtani, who's looked a lot better on the mound lately and has been helping us kind of get through it. But I'm curious, people in chat, do we think this is going to hit? Actually, I want to score out of 10. From 1 to 10, do we think this has life? Because I kind of think it has life. You're saying no, it's not going to? I don't know. 7 out of 10. I'm with you, Anthony. I think it's a 7 out of 10. Because the good thing is, like Prize Picks, let's say Ohtani does go over his ERA or Vladdy doesn't get the hits. We'd still double that. So we'd turn 250 into 500. I'll take it. I want the 6250, though. I want the 6250. 5.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Flash the Dawn. Why 5.5? Just curious. I'm not saying you're wrong, right? In no way this is a lock. I'm curious who you don't think is going to hit. Do you think both Vladdy and Shohei don't get there? Because that's what they're projected right now. I don't hate it. Worry about Vladdy. I'm on him too. 7 out of 10. Yeah, he's been on this pace all season long. It's like 163, 164. If we just get a little bit of kick in gear to end this season, we're on the right track. Also, another announcement. Producer Cohen, if you could flash the leaderboard again. Krabs has retired. Krabs has retired, unfortunately. Called me this morning in tears. Down 51.41 units. Called me in tears and said, please, Peter, don't make me come on stream again. No, I mean, it's funny. Like, he went for one last Hail Mary. He went 2-5. But Krabs still knows what he's doing. There was a reason why we brought him on. And just a really tough season, at least on this show, right? Because if you follow his other picks, he's been totally fine. But shout out Krabs. Appreciate him coming on the show. But again, retired. Throw up the X. Des Bryant. Throw it up. Krabs is done. All right. But good thing is, I got my pick. And we got all of the winners on par today. Let's get after it, folks. Let's get after it. So the first play is I'm going to take you to Kansas City. And this is why I'm going to take Kansas City first 5 on the money line. The pitching matchup is Logan Gilbert versus Brady Singer. So this game immediately jumped out at me for a few reasons, right? For one, the Mariners' bats are cold. And when they get cold, they get really cold, right? I've been following this team for the entire season. You guys know we bet on them like it feels like 70,000 times. Because of how invested we are in their futures and just because we bet on them in multiple occasions, like 700 of them. That was my mistake yesterday. Now, could you quantify that as a bad beat, right? Took the lead, blew it. Took the lead, blew it. Extra innings, blew it. Kind of a bad beat. I just think that's a losing bet, right? We've won bets. We've lost bets. Just a losing bet. Wouldn't call it a bad beat. But I do think it's a mistake on my part, right? Because if you're going to make a bet and lose, at least learn something from it. Now, could it come true? I don't know, but I think we've seen this from the Mariners enough to make an educated guess, right? I should have known that after they scored 0 runs, after being so hot, that was going to be a start of a cold streak, and we saw it, right? The bats looked anemic yesterday. They only scored 3 runs through 10 innings, and now they have to jump back on a plane from Seattle to Kansas City without an off day. Not only that, 10 innings yesterday, 10 innings the game before in a very tense and important series. So after losing back-to-back tough emotional games, I think this is a spot where they come out flat. Now, could I be proved wrong? Absolutely. But this spot just doesn't seem like an area of success for them. Kind of like the Orioles are in a similar spot. Like, I wanted to just bet the Orioles because, you know what? That's a bad, no, like, it's the Padres should not be favored by minus 150. But then I really thought to myself, I'm like, well, if I'm fading the Mariners because of this bad spot, the Orioles are in a very similar spot. It's just bad travel for them, but it's not as far for them. I just stayed away. But another reason this game shot out to me was Logan Gilbert, right? He's coming off a 7-inning dominant shutout of the Padres. 7 innings, 1 hit, 12 Ks. And now his earned run prop is at 2.5 and juice towards the over at -130. Brady Singer is projected for the same amount of outs, fewer hits, lower earned run prop, and the same amount of strikeouts. Interesting. The Royals continue to hit against righties. In the last 14 days, this Royals offense ranked 3rd in WRC+, 3rd at 134, 3rd in OPS at 869, 6th in hard hit rate, which is the 8th, with the 8th lowest ground ball rate. Because what does Logan Gilbert want to do? He wants to keep the ball on the ground. In the last 30 days, right, so a larger sample, they ranked 6th in WRC+ at 116 against righties at home. Just a good offense against righties at home, right? Remember we faded them against Senga, right? And they hit Senga. A lot of people didn't like that one. We faded them against good pitchers in these spots, and they have come through for us. I really like this lineup in this spot, right? The Royals have a 720 OPS this season at home, 662 OPS on the road, right? So we took them in game 1 against Wainwright, but we didn't take them even though the model showed value on them in game 2 because they're not as electric against lefties. They've been really hitting righties. Now, Gilbert has only faced a few of the Royals' bats, but it's gone really well for Kansas City. Through 23 plate appearances, right? Small sample, not much, but at least they've seen him, and it's gone well. Royals bats have a 409 opponent batting average, 417 xwOBA, which means the quality of contact is way above average, 611 expected slugging. Salvador Perez and Bobby Witt Jr. are combined 5 for 11 with a home run and a double off Gilbert. It's not bad, right? And Seattle's offense has been one of baseball's best, right? That's why they have the best record, or at least one of the best records since the All-Star break. But the WRC Plus is slowly dropping week after week after week. And without J.P. Crawford, they're just having trouble getting guys on. Now, what Brady Singer's going to do is he's going to force them to hit, right? Which should bode well for Brady Singer. Because Singer is rocking a 4.12 ERA at home, 6.52 ERA on the road. Hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in his last 4 starts against the Yankees, Twins, Red Sox, and Mets. Now, Mariners' offense has been good, but even when they've been at their hottest, the Twins are still a tougher matchup for Singer, and he's shoved against them. 5 innings, 2-run ball, 10 Ks. I just project this to be a flat spot for Seattle's bats, and it won't help them that Singer's going to make them swing the bat, right? What's Singer best at? Not allowing free passes. That's like the one area where he's well above average in. Gilbert is the better pitcher than Brady Singer, but the Royals have every other advantage. They have the rest day. They're at home. They're hitting better than the Mariners, and it's a plus money price. I just don't want to battle with the bullpens. The Mariners own that advantage, no doubt about it. And there's a possibility that their bats wake up later in the game. But I'd rather isolate the flat spot and take the Royals against their better split. And I thought this first 5 money line, plus 100, minus 105. Seriously. Right? Because first 5 money lines, it's normally like minus 130 to minus 105. Right? It's the larger discrepancy. That's what I thought it should be. But then I saw minus 150 to plus 115. I was like, that's a little bit expensive, especially considering that Gilbert's earned run prop. Like if Gilbert was at 18.5 pitching outs and Singer was at 16.5, and those earned run props were a little bit similar, okay. But they're the same amount of outs. They expect them to go to the same distance, but Gilbert's minus 130 to go over 2.5. I think that's for a reason. I think the Royals went through 5 at plus 115. Baltimore has been on the West Coast. They haven't had to travel. That reasoning doesn't make sense. Well, I don't know if you're from the West Coast. Seattle to San Diego is like Maine to Florida. You might not be from the West Coast. It's travel. It's like a 2.5, 3 hour flight. It's not that much different from Seattle to Kansas City. Look it up. It's not. I didn't take the Orioles. Calm your jets. I didn't take the Orioles. I didn't take the Padres either. I'm just saying it's not a great spot for them because there is travel involved, right? It's border to border. It's not cross country. I think Gilbert gives up a run or two early. I agree. Oh, Zeke. Did Zeke just sign with the Patriots? Did he? Wait, hold on. Is that true? Or are you just talking shit? Is that true, producer Cohen? He's checking. He's checking. I might take plus a half first 5. Yeah, I don't hate it. I just want the plus money. 1 year deal with the Pats, Zeke, Ramondre Stevenson, and Zeke in that backfield. Per Rappaport. Interesting. All right, let's go over the Prize Picks entry. Okay. So, Soto, up to you if you want to tail. And I'll tell you why. He got bumped down to 7 on Prize Picks, if I'm not mistaken, which you absolutely hate to see as a Juan Soto backer. Let me see. Soto. Yeah, he's at 7 on Prize Picks still. So you got to really love it, and I'll explain why. So Juan Soto's been cold lately, but this is a really good spot for him to get rolling. While I like Grayson Rodriguez, he has his flaws. For one, he surrendered a 950 OPS against left-handed bats this season and allows a lot of hard contact, 5th percentile in the hard hit rate, right? So allows a lot of hard contact, and he sucks against lefties. Soto's in the 99th percentile in hard hit rate. Nobody really hits it harder than Soto. And he's rocking a 975 OPS against right-handed pitching. And as you can see, he is, of course, a lefty. And he matches up really well against Grayson's pitch mix. Grayson has 5 pitches. But Soto should see mostly fastballs and changeups all day because that's what Grayson likes to throw to lefties the most because he doesn't really have that great of a pitch to get at lefties. That's why he's struggled. But he'll also sprinkle in the curveball, sprinkle in the slider. Soto's favorite pitch in all of baseball is the right-handed changeup. No doubt about it. He's rocking a 10-run value, 306 batting average, 390 xWOBA. He also crushes fastballs and sliders to a tune of a 7-run value. Grayson stinks against lefties. He throws all the pitches that Juan Soto wants to see, and I think Juan Soto is a top 3 bat that is left-handed, right? And Soto's going to face a good Baltimore Orioles lineup, or bullpen, but if you watch this series with the Mariners, they used a lot of them, so it's not going to be the fully rested unit, right? So I think he's going to face some weaker back-end guys, but Soto did fall from 7.5 to 7, so if you don't like it, don't take it. You really got to love it because obviously you're playing against a bump, but this is a beautiful baseball matchup for Juan Soto. Now, here's one that I think I could interest you in, and you can pair it with, right, because we got a bunch of people coming on stream. They're going to have plenty of Prize Picks entries, so you can pick one of theirs. This is my favorite of the day. So it's so funny. I laughed when I saw this matchup. For the Giants to even have a prayer in this game, they have to see pitches. And that's the one area that the Giants have succeeded in, rocking a 10% walk rate in the last month against righties, places them 6th in Major League Baseball. They have the lowest OPS in baseball against righties in that span. But it's not because of the on-base skills, right? On-base plus slugging. It's not because of that. It's because they cannot slug at all. And on the flip side, Glasnow needs to give the Rays length. The most innings they got out of a starter was Aaron Savali when he threw 5 innings, right? Zach Eflin only gave them 3, and then he got bombed in that game 9-2 Guardians. And then on the flip side as well, they went with a bullpen game. So they need length out of Glasnow. That's why you see his pitching outs juice so heavily, right? And Glasnow hasn't pitched since July 31st due to back spasms, right? He had a back spasm before his last start, so he didn't make it. So now he's returning. So I think that 1.5 walks can hit in a lot of different ways. For one, he's rusty, right? Coming off the back spasm. Maybe he doesn't have his command early. Then he just walks a couple guys and we smack. But let's say he's not rusty, right? The Rays need to get a lot of length out of him. So the more he pitches, the more he opens himself up to free passes, to more walk opportunities against the Giants team where the only real way they're going to hit him is if they take a bunch of pitches. So that's why I really like this prop. It can hit in a bunch of different ways, either rust or he's pitching a long time and opens up more opportunities. And he's also minus 130 on the books on BetMGM to go over 1.5 walks. Soto bases on books. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's a great matchup for him. Right? But let's say Grayson walks him, right? And then he scores a run. Or he has a 2 RBI single. Like, I like the fantasy score better, but I don't mind the over 1.5 bases on books. Don't love it. Definitely prefer the fantasy score. And also, he did get bumped down. So just play with caution. You got to really like it in order to play it. I know it's a big name. You hear me pitching it. Makes you want to play it. But again, look into it. See if you like it. The matchup is gorgeous. I will say that. We've seen fluke shit before, all right? Let's go with our home run pick. How about last time on stream, Jorge Polanco? Jorge Polanco? How about it, ladies and gentlemen? Jorge Polanco. All right, so who do I want today? So I think it's easy to look at these Arizona or Colorado guys because, of course, they're playing in Coors Field. Zach Geloff is interesting because he's one of baseball's hottest hitters, but I don't think I really want to take him. Who do I want to take? Nobody's really jumping out at me today. I might have to take someone not on. I'm looking into this Royals game real quick because I had an idea for one earlier on, but I didn't see him on. I want to see something. Who do I think might go yard today? Goldie is looking at me crazy. Some slight just sub. Take Astros money line today, Pete. I cannot. Altuve. Huh. You know, Producer Cohen, you know who's staring at me in the face, and I don't know why he's up there? Why is Brandon Drury up there against Scherzer? What are his odds? Let's look. Brandon Drury. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But are you due? Let me see. Oh, that's weird. Brandon Drury and Corey Seager have the same home run odds. Brandon Drury and Corey Seager have the same home run odds. That's my pick. Producer Colin, put the camera on me. Brandon Drury will hit a home run off Max Scherzer to left field. A moon boom, as we like to call it. Brandon Drury is my home run pick. All right? What do we think about Drury? So on Friday, we hit Jorge Polanco. Today, Brandon Drury, home run against Max Scherzer. Who do we got in queue right now? Mid-major. Hey. Round of applause. Just a fucking round of applause. Look at this man. That is the story of Why Not Us. That is the story of the Olympic men's hockey team against Russia. The 2004 Red Sox. We got Sheehan going game 5. We got Pedro going game 6. And game 7, anything can happen. Pedro just got his. We're officially in game 7 territory. Anything can happen. Mid-major Matt, welcome to the fucking show. How are you?
I'm doing very well, sir. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good.
Good.
It was good. We
Yeah,
made
you
it.
bet on the Rangers, so it was a good weekend.
Bet on the Rangers. It was never who pitched. Alex, I'm telling I might fade Alex Cobb for the rest of this. He's
Yeah,
slowing down.
his arms getting tired, man. You could tell. Yeah, good weekend for myself. I've been preaching it. I'm gonna win those tickets. I don't care who the fuck is ahead of me. I'm
I
gonna
love
stay
it.
up here.
And
I
it
may fall
starts
down,
tonight.
but I'll be back here at the end of the season. I promise you.
I love it.
And I think I might have the most plays pitched next to you. We're probably neck and neck there. So I am proud of myself for that as well. For having
You have-
one of the largest sample sizes.
You have been a model of consistency. Every day,
Uh,
day in, day out, you come on stream and you give out bangers.
I would say a model of a realistic aspect of baseball betting. I was top 2 or 3 in the first month and a half of the stream, I believe. I went down near 12 units, not a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And here we are. So it just, ebbs and flows. There's rivers and valleys and everything. So as long as you stay consistent, you try to learn, hopefully things turn around for the best. As long as you also stay consistent with the unit sizes, for sure. And then flat betting for the most part helps. But I just happen to be hitting my flat bets at the 3 units. So that also has helped a lot.
Shit pays, man.
Shit pays, brother. Yeah, this one's a little unique. I want to say on chat, I'm 100% on my Nerfy plays given out on this year. 1-0. And I'm risking that title for this second play. Rangers they were on the West Coast for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's a nice, easy West Coast trip. They went from Oakland and they went up to San Francisco right after that. Again, hour-and-a-half drive. It's a 5-minute helicopter ride. They were taking it easy. They were resting pretty easy. Now they're coming home the next day without the days off, playing the Angels. Angels, they have a good matchup technically against Sandoval. They hit his pitch arsenal well. But of late, the Rangers bats have slowed down against the slider and the four seam, which is what Sandoval wants to pitch early and often. In the first time opposing batters, Sandoval has a 2.4 strikeout to walk ratio, as opposed to a 1.6 the second time he faces the lineup. So I think that's important because if you look on Prize Picks, his 2.5 earned run square is up, which is catching a lot of guys' eyes, which I don't disagree with. But I more so think after they see how wild he can be and how wild he can be with his walks and how erratic he can be if they're patient, I think that takes effect after the first inning. So I like that the Rangers bats aren't going to be completely up to speed because outside of, Game 2 against Alex Cobb and Alex Wood, of course, the Rangers bats didn't do much. And Sandoval has been pitching well lately. So I know the odds look, the over has looked sharp. It's now minus 120 to the over, I think 8.5, which the juice is moving that way when the money's on the under. But interestingly enough, the under opened up at plus 100. It's now, I believe, at minus 120 on BetMGM. For the Nerfy, I apologize. Opened up plus 100, and whilst the over has moved to minus 120 to the over, the Nerfy has moved to minus 120 to the no score. So that caught my eye for sure. And of course, it's Max Scherzer facing our lineup. I still think our lineup is pretty poverty. With Moniak, I don't think he's 100%, and he's regressed a lot. He's been swinging and missing at everything. And Scherzer looked dialed his last start again versus the A's. But right now, our lineup has not done much more than the A's, to be honest. And Ohtani has slowed down a lot. If he's not hitting a homer in the first, I don't think we're scoring. So I'm a big fan of this play, especially it's a bit contrarian because, again, I touched on my last Nerfy. Who's taking the Nerfy with these two top of the lineups, these two top of the orders? Not many people. And for the over to go juiced over and the Nerfy to be juiced under, that catches my eye.
I don't disagree with the play. I disagree that it's contrarian. I think it's just a good play. I think you see Max Scherzer and Patrick Sandoval, both ERAs below 4, and Max Scherzer is a big name. I think people will play this Nerfy. But again, I'm just trying to clarify, sure,
that makes sense.
Picture. I just don't think it's contrarian. Again, I make play fading Wainwright was not contrarian, it hit. Right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think it could hit. I just don't think it's some crazy
it wasn't so much
conspiracy.
Yeah. It's not some crazy sharp conspiracy for sure. It was more so the fact that the over appears for the full game to be sharp, but the Nerfy is heading the opposite way, at least in terms of juice.
It is.
So those two are contrarian opposing
Yes.
juices and movement. I would say that's more my point. So I apologize.
No,
There's
don't
any
apologize. That's
clarification.
more than fair. We're just talking ball. Let's talk
Just
about your
talking
next
ball.
play.
Yeah, and speaking of talking ball, I want to shout out something slight in the chat. Last Friday, thank you for you telling me you ignore all my plays. So I appreciate your insight. I appreciate your words of wisdom. I hope that you're up an immense amount of units in your gambling career. So I just want to shout you out, my friend.
Taking the high road on that one.
Absolutely, brother.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about why you're taking a slight alt line on this over.
Yeah. I mean, again, if this goes over, it's not going to go over by half a run, Peter. Let's be honest. I know Max Fried did not look great. I mean, he looked awful his last start against the Pirates. And Clark Schmidt has looked decent. He looked better, of course. I mean, the Yankees' second best pitcher of late, outside of Cole. And of course, it's the Braves' offense. But we touched on it on Friday. The Yankees, again, against lefties, they've been hitting the ball hard as fuck. They knocked Luzardo out of the game in the fourth inning or in the third inning, I think. And whilst they don't hit the curveball well, which is what Max Fried wants to throw, he's been spamming fastballs to the right-handed hitters so far this year, and they've not been good quality fastballs. And the Yankees, since the All-Star break, have been one of the top hitting teams against lefties against their fastballs. So I think they can get to Fried early enough to knock him out of the game before the sixth. Also, his pitching outs line last time was 17.5, minus 180 to the over. Today, it's minus 130 to the under 16.5. That's a lot of drop in value in what they expect him to do today. So that's telling me that they have some respect for this Yankees offense, and I don't disagree with it. On the other side, Clark Schmidt. I saw Ozzy Albies is in the lineup, so I don't love that, but it's still the Braves off. He's not.
Yeah, he just got injured. He's on my fantasy team.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't catch that. But I don't love that, obviously. He's been one of the best bats of late, but of course, it's still the Braves offense. Since August 1st, I was going to ask you this question, but you get upset at me when I ask you questions. So I'm just going to tell you, since August 1st, the Atlanta Braves have averaged 7.5 runs per game. It's just stupid.
It is funny, too, because it's like, you're starting to see contrarians, people we know good and well, being like, no way the Braves go to the playoffs, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I get it. Happens all the time in baseball, right? The best team just flounders out in the playoffs. But then, you watch them, and you're
they're disgusting.
They are just the only reason they lose now is when Yonny Chirinos is on the mound.
That guy's a dumpster fire.
And he just won't keep pitching for them once they get back Kyle Wright. Right. So it's like, it's going to be tough for them to lose. I'm very invested in them. I got them to win the pennant. I got them to win the World Series. Got them to win. I went all in on the Braves, and it looks good to me right now. But I am afraid of them in the playoffs because the best team doesn't always win. But they're so far and away the best team.
So far and away the best offense. Are they the best team though, Peter? You can say that wholeheartedly with as much ball as you know.
Yeah, they're the best team.
You're smarter than I am, but I disagree with you.
You want to know why? Well, that's fine. We can disagree. They're very good defensively, which I think is an underrated aspect of teams. Where normally teams that hit like this, they got a lot of big sluggers around. They hit a lot of home runs. They're not reliant on home runs, which is key. Like everyone's saying, oh, they hit so many home runs. How are they going to do it in the playoffs? It's not about that. It's about that they hit so many home runs, but they can beat you in so many different ways. Why? They're one of the best base running teams. And then their bullpen is good in the back end. It's not great, but it's good. Right? By Sierra, Skill Interactive ERA, when it projects out bullpen ERA for the rest of the season, they ranked second. And then on top of that, starters, Max Fried has not gone through a full season, so his arm is now fresh. I could see it in this matchup. Yankees kill lefties. I could see this going over. Strider is still great, right? They still have Charlie Morton, who I think in the third round, in game 3,
the spot starter, a long reliever.
Yeah, if they, are piecing together a Bryce Elder start, then they have Kyle Wright. They have a lot of fucking firepower, dude. And there's no other team, in my opinion, that has that level.
Agreed with everything you said, but I disagree with the bullpen part. I do not think it's good. I think a lot of their issues are overshadowed by how much they score a game and how little they pitch in stressful innings. I take a big part. That's just my personal brain. I
But you
factor that
can't
in.
knock them for beating the shit out of everybody so they haven't been in those
I don't
spots off.
I don't knock their bats whatsoever. Absolutely not. It's more so their pitching. I've seen Raisel Iglesias blow up before, and when
Fair.
he blows up one start, that guy has he's a big momentum guy, and if he loses momentum, he could blow up hard.
So who do you
I
think
would
is
hope
better?
that you know that.
Who do you
What's
think is
that?
better? Who do you think is better? I'm just curious.
Oh, as an overall team,
Yeah,
uh,
because you said you don't think that the Braves are the best team in baseball.
yeah, I did. So that's a fair question. As of right now, on the spot, honestly, and I've changed my stance on this throughout the year. I think the Rangers right now are better in my opinion, with a healthy Corey Seager and a healthy
Should we
bullpen.
talk about their pitching? They don't have
We
the pitching
can.
the Braves do.
Yeah, I mean I think they have a better bullpen, but they have a worse starting rotation.
Do they have a better bullpen?
In my opinion, yeah.
Will Smith? You like Will Smith or you like Raisel Iglesias?
I like Will Smith. I do not like Raisel Iglesias at all, Peter. Again, I'll tell you, he blew up last year. He was pitching for the Angels, before he got traded to the Braves. There was a start. We were up by 3 or 4 against Baltimore. He came in, blew that start. He then consecutively blew 3 starts after that, and then he was traded. He is so emotional. If he blows up, it's gonna be awful for you guys, for the Braves.
Yeah.
So that's, again, has he done that this year? Absolutely not. But knowing his history in that context, it's hard for me to invest a decent amount of money, which now is what you have to pay to bet on the Braves.
Absolutely. I would not recommend getting in on the Braves now. The market is at its lowest point. Preseason, when they were one of the favorites, that's where I'm happy. So I'm happy with my position, but at the same time, like, the best team doesn't always win.
Right. You know what's funny, Peter, also is that's my last. We got a little bit of time, if that's okay.
Yeah.
After yesterday, I actually, as much as you want to fucking clown me and just yell at me, I am going to invest on the Yankees to make the playoffs. I was wholeheartedly set to do so. You're outside of Clark Schmidt yesterday, who just didn't have it. Obviously he couldn't throw a strike. His sinker was just not landing. He was not getting any swinging whiff. He was not getting any whiffs. That was pretty clear since the first batter he faced. Obviously he blew up. Boone didn't make the adjustment. It is what it is. Outside of that, your entire bullpen has been phenomenal. If you guys can somehow,
not really lately. It's fallen apart. I'm telling you, Clay Holmes. I think we're dead. I think we're
in the last 5 days, you guys have had 2 bullpen games. What else are you supposed to do? I mean, they're just getting tired.
No, and who's the starting pitchers that can weather that load? Right? You have Cole. You have Clark Schmidt. Severino cannot pitch anymore. Nestor just got put on the IL for a month.
Yeah.
And Rodon has not been good. Like, they're going to have to keep doing those bullpen games. So in starts that they get 6 innings from their starter, those bullpen arms are then tired, then not going to be as effective. So, like, that's their strength. They're dead at this point, and I don't blame them at all. They've been used so much. Nick Ramirez just went on the IL. He was an important arm for them. Like, by all means, Fangraphs gives them a 5.7% chance. So for them to make the playoffs, you would need an implied probability of like plus 500. Like, maybe it's worth a stab, but like, I watched this team do, like, and you want to fade the fan, I get it, but we are so dead. I mean, that loss yesterday felt like the end of the season.
That might be the nail in the coffin. I've been wanting to. They looked great against Luzardo. They didn't do shit against Sandy, which you can't blame them because Sandy was fantastic. They looked good yesterday until they just blew up.
They cannot hit a righty. They're going to face more righties. Like, they might win today. They might beat Max Fried.
Yeah,
because they do hit lefties. But you're going to see more righties. They can't hit righties. Stanton is playing injured. Rizzo is not back. DJ can't play anymore. Volpe is fine. We have no catcher. It's Ben Rortvedt.
So correct me if I'm wrong here. I've been reading a lot of stats about Volpe. Isn't he playing at a worse or kind of similar level as the Joey Gallo was last year when Joey Gallo was getting eggs thrown at his fucking house or whatever?
It's a completely different situation. You have Joey
How's that?
Gallo, who has a major league track record, was much better with the Rangers.
Performance-wise, Peter. Performance-wise, is it not similar?
No, because Joey Gallo struck out 40% of the time.
What was his
Anthony
average?
Volpe is 21. Yeah, they might have the same batting average, but like that's where the similarities end.
And home runs as well. So that's the small part, the context I was kind of reading. I didn't put much into it.
Similar batting average and similar home runs for a 21-year-old shortstop versus a guy who is only paid to hit home runs.
That's fair.
When a guy's getting traded over and like we know that he's 21, right? He could be playing at LSU right now. We know that he came up from AA. That was expected. Not expected from the guy that you traded a big package for who hit 40 home runs in the past, then came over, wasn't even that great defensively in left field versus shortstop. It's a completely different situation.
Yeah, but I mean,
I know you saw the Jake Hazen propaganda tweet because he doesn't know ball, doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'll wrap it up here. But Joey Gallo, I think he's always been the same player. Just because he's not hitting 40 home runs doesn't mean he's ever not struck out 40% of the time. But can we just agree on Yankees? New York fans, they are just spoiled, and you guys are little brats, and you guys don't deserve all the love that you get, and you deserve every hate.
Do we even get love?
You guys give yourselves love. You guys don't deserve it.
I do.
You don't. Not. I mean, you're one of. It took you a long time to go out of your ignorant New York state of mind. There are a lot of people that don't. So,
well, thank you. Appreciate you.
What's that?
Matt, do you want my Yankees ALEs ticket? Trade you for a chicken sandwich.
DJ, buy yourself a cup of coffee. Take your $7 and just get a fucking calzone. No, it's a fucking croissant.
Yeah.
That you guys need in New York.
Yeah, get a croissant, DeGen, you New York elitist piece of shit. All right, DeGen, or mid-major, whatever your name is.
See you, brother.
Nerfy and the over. Good luck.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Fuck it, why not? Where the hell is everybody? Ollie is a few minutes late, he said. Then we got DeGen and Gino. Cold Brew is 550. Yeah, I know. Oh, Gino and Javon. No DeGen today. Find that pretty interesting. But good. We got Gino on. We got an actual winner. Not like DeGen, who's working. Gino's also working, and look at him now. He's here to deliver us some winners. How are you, my friend?
Brother, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you'd let me in earlier if I had to wait 7 minutes.
Hell yeah. How are you?
The rules of the land. How you living, brother?
I'm doing okay. Excited for football. Wrapping up on baseball. My season-long Prize Picks entry is coming down to the wire, so I'm excited about that. Had a good, nice weekend. How about yourself?
Good. This is arguably one of the best days in the history of Bet Openly. We've existed for 4 years. We've gotten 2 cease and desists. For those that aren't lawyers out there, not a good thing. You don't want 2 cease and desists. The state of Colorado and the state of Jersey. And although the state of Jersey is like dealing with your ex-girlfriend's mother, Colorado has turned out to be lovely, and we got a license today. So we are bringing back Colorado for NFL. So pretty pumped to turn one. We were 0-2. You don't want to be 0-2. It's not a good batting average. But 1-2, now you're looking decent.
Now you're a Hall of Famer. Now you're a Hall of Famer.
It's like,
so how much money are you going to take in on Broncos over 8.5 wins?
So there's certain things Colorado won't let us do. They're letting us do fantasy points.
Okay.
So like you can bet on the over/under. They have. I don't want to make this all about this, but I'll have to talk to you about it. They have an interpretation that some things that we bet on are props and not fantasy. And a lot that they say makes sense, but I don't want to also demonize us or other places. So it'll be a lot tied to fantasy points.
Fair enough. Well, let's get into the plays for today.
Let's do it, brother.
Pirates money line. So you got a bunch of plays. We're going to start half unit to work all the way up to your favorite of the day. But you saw a little bit of value here on Pirates.
Yeah. The Pirates here, where was this one? What are we getting at? Plus 115. This was a pure estimated value play based on our projected odds. We projected this just to be a plus 110. Once we got plus 115, we took it. I had a little bit bigger bet on this if it was better odds, but for you guys out there getting plus 115, please keep it at a half a unit. There's a couple Well, I'll get into that a little later. But this one, yeah, not too exciting. Just 5% projected EV.
Fair enough. Quinn Priester versus Carlos Carrasco. Carlos Carrasco. You could have just said Carlos Carrasco is pitching for the Mets and fading him. Or I'm just fading the Mets. Either would suffice.
And I've been losing money on those Mets, and I'm not proud to admit that. I've seen a lot of value on them, except for today, recently.
No, it's funny. I have too, and I have just I refused. Like, if they were any other team, I just know them. And like they could be plus 700. There's plenty of value, right? I don't want to watch them. I don't want my money tied up with them. Like yesterday, Sunday Night Baseball, Mets plus one whatever. That was the bet. Was I taking it? Absolutely not. I didn't take Braves because the Mets was the bet, but there's no shot. There's no shot.
And your Yankees have been making me some money recently.
How?
They just find a way.
They don't win, though.
Only when I'm on them.
Okay. So let's get to the next one. Giants money line.
So I am one of those guys. I do bet on my teams, but I don't bet on my teams a lot. So
don't fade 86. Thank you for the sub. Back to you, Jim.
No, it's all good. I've had multiple indicators on this game, so it takes a lot for me to bet my Giants. And what I would tell you guys is the Giants as home dogs. I get that they're not Tampa Bay. I get it. But I'm telling you, this team as home dogs has performed fantastic all year. They play people really tough, and I have a bunch of unders on Tampa Bay in terms of DFS. So this is just purely a system play. Giants as home dogs. I actually have been telling you guys a lot about betting East Coast teams on the West Coast. So this one almost missed the system, but the Giants plus 115 is just too much value.
Fair enough. Let's keep going. Giants plus 1.5 as well.
This one's even bigger. Yeah. So this is, if you guys look at how often, if they do lose at home, they lose by 1. This is, again, just pure system. And Tampa Bay, I want to say against this pitcher, the number of people in their lineup batting, whichever left or right or whatever, this pitcher for the Giants recently has matched up really well with. So that's what I mean by multiple systems. We have the Giants at home. Giants not losing by 2 or more at home often. And this is one of my favorite plays of the day, and I do not bet my guys a lot. So it takes a lot for me to leave them on a card.
Fair enough. All right, let's keep moving. We had a lot. Royals. This, aligned.
My dudes, this is the fade the public play of the day. There is no bigger money line exposure, ticket exposure, and books locking in the line than this play. This is as traditional Geno as it gets. The books are insanely exposed on this, and they are holding the line. What are your thoughts there, Petey?
I took Royals first 5. I did not want to deal with Kansas City's bullpen. I saw similar things to you. I am more fading the suspicious Gilbert lines. So I think the Royals take a lead. I do think they end up winning the game, but I saw personally the biggest edge because I make this line plus 120 and I make the first 5 plus 100 or minus 105. So I got plus 115 versus, so there's just a little bit more for me on the first 5. And I think the best part of the Royals pitching, like when you go starter to the end of the bullpen, is Singer. So that's why I saw the biggest edge for me, but we're aligned, right?
Yeah. So do you agree with me when we say like the Royals have a pretty weak bullpen and they actually can put the ball in play and stuff like that?
They have a horrible bullpen.
And I saw that they brought up more kids. Trev and I were chatting about this that actually strike out even less. So one of my bigger straight plays is actually the other team's pitcher.
Yeah, we got a prize picks entry for you. Let's talk about it.
So we'll get into that. But that's one of these correlations. So, Gilbert. So one, we already liked him projecting under on these Ks. And then we saw some of the people Kansas City brought up strike out less, even more than the people they already had. And they're already not a big strikeout team. They're not great. They're not bad. So again, this is where I'm looking for multiple system indicators to find value. And so the parlay we're talking about here, we have Jose Altuve, as projecting EV positive on the home run. Mind you, it was plus 520. That's not a low paying home run. I also liked him on the over on bases. And then lastly, the fantasy projections.
Bang, bang, boop.
I wanted to get your ear real quick. So I'm a little older than most guys in the room. The reason I say that is my betting style. I actually prefer fantasy points over getting micro into individual bases.
I agree. Whenever I have the opportunity to do because you can just get it in so many different ways.
That's what I'm saying.
You get points for walks.
Yep.
Say Altuve walks, then he scores a run, right? That's 0 total bases. It's 5 fantasy points.
Exactly.
So it's just a lot of different ways you can score if you have a good matchup and you're on base in a couple of different ways. Like I took Juan Soto over 7.5 fantasy today. People are like, do you like Soto bases? I'm like, yes. But I also think, like, what if he there's bases loaded when he comes up and it's an RBI, like he scored 2 RBIs on a single, walks 2 times over fantasy under bases. Like, that's why I prefer.
So can you tell me why the kids these days don't like fantasy point totals and why they like the individual breakdowns?
I don't know if they do.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I haven't heard that.
Oh, okay.
I think people just like winners and like whatever they can get it. Yeah.
Let me rephrase the question. I see a lot more posts about over under runs, over under hits. I don't see as many fantasy point over under. So if I'm reading it wrong, you tell me.
No, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But we can ask Ollie. He's on next. Gino, appreciate you, my friend. All right. Keep it going.
Brother.
Keep it humming. All right. So that was Gino. If you could flash the leaderboard real quick before you welcome on Ollie, just to show. So we just had Mid-Major Matt on, who's on an insane heater. We had Gino come on, who's been great for us all season long. Right now, we're about to bring on Ollie, who you see is in 4th and with a good day could be right up in the thick of it. And then we're last, but certainly not least, is our leader, Javon, who will come on and end the stream. Ollie 1 unit, commonly referred to as Ollie half unit, also commonly referred to as number 4 on the leaderboard. How are you?
Good. Yep. Half unit's back today, back in action. Listen, I'm just going to try. I'm not making any big moves like Matt. Very volatile with his year-to-date record, which is great. We love to see him back up there in 2nd place after what he's been through. But that's one way to go about it. Another way, like me, I'm just going to be in the thick of things, at least try to be hanging around within distance. So if I'm in striking distance that last week is when I can go crazy and try to get first. I think that's kind of the game plan I put myself in now. So that's what I'm going to try to execute.
Let's get after it then. What do we got today? Astros money line, huh?
Yeah, some simple
squaring up, but like at the same time, I kind of think they win.
I think there's a lot of fishy stuff going on the board today that, it's Monday, first game of the series. A lot of the times the square, don't overthink it, baseball play of the day pans out. I'm not so sure that's how this Monday is going to go. I had a very weird weekend. Friday was great. Saturday was awful. Sunday was great. So what's going to happen on Monday? I don't know. I'm going to try to reset the week. The first play, minus 135 last night, up to minus 155 at some point today for me. I ended up locked in minus 145 right in the middle. I kind of like that it went back down a little bit, believe it or not, because
no, I agree. Like that's why I'm happy. Like
been
the Royals.
Scary.
No, if you have been betting, like let's say Astros money line rose to minus 165, and you're like, "Ooh, I beat the closing line." That's been destroying people. Like I'm kind of glad the Royals
on these Monday games.
Yeah,
it's been happening like crazy. So I'm kind of like, it's weird that I'm happy the line went back down 10 cents after getting up to minus 155, but I think all in all, it's a Framber masterclass after a subpar outing against the Orioles after the no-hitter. I think this is the spot where we get a nice 7-inning, 1-2 run, 8K Framber start. And I do think the Astros on the road will get to Braxton Garrett. And although the Marlins bullpen's kind of rested and not really bad per se, because they've got some guys that are like, he can go dominate an inning. Let's see how they do against the top of that Astros lineup, who has been pretty on fire lately.
It has.
Since getting healthy.
Absolutely has. Play number 2.
Listen, taking Yankees overs can be kind of weird, especially because they do have a very good bullpen. But with the starting pitching matchup today, I think we're going to get runs early and often. What the Yankees have been doing kind of lately, the sample size is getting bigger and bigger, is they hit left-handed pitching. Doesn't really matter who it is, especially since Aaron Judge has been back, obviously. You saw it against Jesus Luzardo, who's a good major league pitcher. Is he Max Fried? Probably not, but who's to say he's not one day? And today, Max Fried has looked so good since coming back. I think he's going to get touched up a little bit, and obviously that Braves lineup just fucks. So I think they're going to get to Clark Schmidt early.
I kind of like this one, which is a bad sign for you.
Yeah, well, the fact we both like it's even worse. But you're not playing.
No, but
so
I'm
maybe
not
that's
playing
good.
it. I just like your pitch. It sounded good.
Well, yeah, usually my pitches aren't that great, so it's good to hear that one kind of no stutters. I knew what I was talking about. Boom. Bing, bang, boom.
That's half the battle, not stuttering and sounding good.
Yep.
Play number 3.
Yep, last play. Let's get a little weird.
Yep.
We had to throw in a little weird play after, Astros money line. Okay, yeah, my grandmother could have picked that. Oh, the Braves are going to score runs. Wow, who would have thought that against Clark Schmidt? He's been all right this year. But today, I do think the Oakland A's are going to get kind of nasty. They had a pretty solid series against the Nationals. What they've been doing, maybe, I don't know if it's probably not an A's pitching thing more so than it is a Nats hitting with runners in scoring position thing. But as shitty of a situation as those pitchers were getting themselves into, for the most part, besides the 9th inning on Sunday, they were getting out of them a lot, especially early on in games. So I think JP Sears isn't phenomenal, but he's not terrible. Susceptible to the home run ball, 25 home runs allowed this year. I think I saw that's a lot of home runs. The Cardinals can hit home runs. However, 20 of those home runs are against right-handed hitters. The Cardinals have 2 of them now. They're very, very good right-handed hitters that scare you. But other than that, the lefties are hitting for average, but not for power. The right-handed hitters against them are hitting for power, not for average. So I think he's going to hang in there and be okay today. But more importantly, I think the A's bats stay hot. Can't believe I'm saying that at this point in the season. But I think those Oakland A's bats, who are 3rd in WRC plus against right-handed pitching on the road specifically over the last 14 days since the All-Star break, I think they're going to get to Michaelis, who's been kind of a stud. I think they're going to get to him. They've got no fear. They like playing away from home in front of crowds that are like, hey, we lost to the A's. That's kind of cool. Who cares? The Cardinals, come on. They got nothing to play for. They stink. I think the A's bite a little bit here today.
You know who doesn't like pitching at Busch Stadium? Miles Michaelis.
Even more so. This Zach Geloff fella, he's going to do some damage. He's been awesome. JJ Bleday, prospect, traded for Jose Jesus Luzardo.
Yes.
By the way, I think he's been heating up a little bit. He had a good weekend. I think he's going to have a good day today. See how it goes. That's my kind of nasty underdog. Plus money through the first 5. Listen, I know, dude, the Cardinals should not be minus 210 to anybody this year. I mean,
not a bad point.
It's also just the value. Like, do I think the A's bullpen will blow it late? Yeah, probably. We just saw it yesterday against the Nationals with a 5-run lead. Like, that's very possible.
Thanks for reminding me. Thank you for reminding me.
I didn't know if you were on anything that game.
I was on. I took A's first 5-1 lead. I'm like, I'm the smartest man on planet Earth. 7-2 going in the 9th inning. I'm like, I should have taken A's minus 4.5. And they humbled me so fast.
Well, you hit A's first 5, though, so that's great. That's what I'm backing up here again today. So, no shot the A's first 5 hit again. Hey, the A's first 5 probably hit more than you want to give them credit for.
Wow. Just calling you out. I like that. I like this, Ollie. 3 plays, 3 winners, half unit, all of them.
Yeah, that's the idea. Let's just hang around, be in the thick of things until it's go time.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon, all right?
All right, see you.
Peace. The Milkman, Javon. What's up, brother? How are you?
Good. How are you?
It's been a while. It's been, what, 3 months since you've been on stream?
It's just always a load management day. The second I'm available to come on, it's unreal.
It's unreal. Load management day. I think I have. Get into your picks.
Yeah, we'll get in there.
Kansas City team total. You are so soft for not taking the first 5 money line. What? You don't think they can win?
Yeah. I mean, I'm keeping it easy because I want to do, because I heard you talking about the Logan Gilbert lines, which certainly caught my attention too. So I want to strictly talk about what I'm fading there, because with the Royals, sometimes you don't want to overcomplicate it, but also I want to make sure that what I'm targeting is exactly what I'm betting, and it's that.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that minus 130 to the over 2.5 run runs is weird. The fact that he's at 6.5 hits allowed is also weird. He's, that's the only guy not named Chris Flexen pitching in Coors today that's at that line. So it's very weird. But I looked into the matchup, which, it also helps that he's coming off of his, I would say, best career start, other than maybe the complete
He
game.
looked amazing.
Amazing, and that was huge because we had our his over 10K games in our BTL Go Whale that cashed on that. So that was great, but I'm fading after that, especially now that this isn't just the Royals in Kauffman Stadium, where they have been significantly better offensively. And a lot of the times when we get burnt by the Royals, it's them playing on the road, getting shut out, or figuring out ways not to hit. So they're 7th in WRC plus against righties at home, which I'm certainly willing to back. And with Logan Gilbert, you talk about the matchup here, which this kind of showed its face a little more earlier in the season when he was really struggling to keep the ball in the ballpark. But you look at his numbers, he still has a 43% hard hit rate. Like, that's not all that very good. It's the bottom quadrant of baseball. And the Royals, we always talk about it, was the one thing they do. It's usually been more so against lefties, but it's also against righties. They have a 39% hard hit rate against righties in the last 30 days.
They've been better against righties than lefties.
Yeah, they have. It's starting to tick back up. So they hit the ball hard off of really everybody right now, but it's starting to lessen the gap between their platoon splits. And it's also the fact that Logan Gilbert, he's going to fill up the strike zone. He doesn't walk anyone. And the Royals, they don't take any. They're last in the league in walks last 30 days and similar across the whole course of the season. So they're going to get plenty of balls in the zone, obviously. They're going to hit them hard. They haven't been striking out as much. And as Gino just pointed out, they have a lot of the newer guys towards the bottom of that lineup that they brought in are not striking out nearly as much as, the cast of guys they had at the start of the season.
May I interest you, Drew Waters?
Bonds. Is he back today?
Yep.
He's Bonds, dude. He's actually
been great. He's been great.
That's actually a huge addition to the lineup. I didn't even see that. But
yeah,
they're gonna hit the ball.
Barry, you want me to read you the lineup? Because we got some reinforcements back today, which I'm very excited about.
Really?
We got Michael Garcia back.
Goat.
Bobby Witt Jr., Michael Massey, Salvi, MJ Melendez, Velasquez, Beatty, Waters, Isbell.
We got the goats out here today.
Yeah, I don't mind that lineup one bit. Also, you want to hear the Mariners lineup today?
Let's hear it.
J-Rod, Suarez, Rowley, Canzone, France, Marlowe, Ford, Moore, Rojas. That's disgustingly bad.
Interesting. Well, I'm with it. You know who I kind of sneakily like today for the Royals? He's been hitting the ball pretty hard since they brought him up to the team, I guess, after they traded for him. Give me Nelson Velasquez today. Give me him to go yard today, even though his strength is quite obviously against left-handed pitchers. He's been kind of hitting righties pretty well since they brought him up. So I'm in.
Their whole team has been freaking raking against righties.
Yeah, so he's my guy today. If he was on Prize Picks, I'd back him. But I'm all in on the Royals scoring 4 today.
Hell yeah, I'm in on it too, because they're gonna have to score. Because I do like Singer today. Do you like Singer at all?
I like him. Don't love him. Can't say I've had incredible success reading him, but looking at the same lines that we're looking at for Logan Gilbert, it's telling you he's going to pitch kind of well today. I just didn't want to have to deal with the bullpen for the full game, and then for the first 5, it just I don't want to overcomplicate it with the Royals. Whatever I see and what I'm basing the cap of the game on with the Royals, I just stick to it.
You are a big Royals team total over guy, and it's been working. So
might
as well not get away.
Except the last time. Last time I bet it they got shut out, but that was on the road.
No more Royals road. No more Royals.
Yeah, not on the road. Not on the road.
All right, next pick.
Yeah, first 5 under in San Fran, where
Glasnow,
offense goes to die. Yeah,
literally.
I think Glasnow pitches pretty well today. Hot take. The Giants have just been pitiful. Especially when they're in San Francisco offensively lately. Looking at some of their stats against righties, because they've been pitiful against lefties for a while now, and it's really starting to catch up against righties. They're 29th with a 73 WRC plus in the last 30 days against right-handed pitching. They also are the worst fastball hitting team in the league by a pretty decent margin in that span, which is very obviously huge for Tyler Glasnow making a start. So I think he pitches well, gives them, this is his first 5, but I think he's going to give them 6-7 innings of really strong baseball. But on the other side too, I don't think the Rays offense is going to be able to do much. Ryan Walker is going to be opening, which he's a sinker slider guy. The Rays against sinkers have been it's weird because you look at a lot of their numbers, and their numbers are going to be carried by 2 outlier starts, but they really haven't been good against sinker slider guys. And obviously today, the best sinker hitter on the team, who usually hits in that first inning when Ryan Walker is going to be pitching, is not on the team right now. So this is not a matchup that I love for them. And then following behind them, they have no like confirmed reports, but I would assume Manaea is going to be in the mix, or some Alex Wood lefty or whatever it may be. The Rays are absolutely atrocious against left-handed pitching.
Probably going to be Manaea because Wood did just pitch, so it's going to be Manaea.
Yeah, I was assuming Manaea, but yeah, the Rays have been horrendous against left-handed pitching. 64 WRC plus in the last 30 days, which really hasn't changed in the last couple of months. So I don't see much coming from their offense. I think this is just going to be a classic offense goes to die game in San Francisco, like we've seen time and time again.
Couple people in piss. For one, anyone who in their right mind would ever root for the Rays. I mean, you got to look at your guys' character and evaluate, do we root for the right team? Number two, Rays to win the division backers. So I'm in piss with you, but my character cannot be questioned.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think there's still a shot. They're still breathing.
I mean, just think about this for a second. DeGen roots for the Rays and is not on the show.
That's like that's two things you don't want to be right there. Right.
That's just two things like you just don't want to be. All right.
Yeah.
Another pick. Ooh, Prize Picks.
Yeah, Prize Picks. Which really try to keep it pretty simple. What's up?
No, just DeGen. Peter, you also a Cowboys and a Patriots fan.
That's tough.
I'm not.
You come on and pitch you Brady Singer case. There you go. But yeah, I kept it pretty simple with this little entry here. Bottom one, new bar, not on the board anymore. Not great for me because I really wanted to attack a lefty, obviously, who didn't have dramatic lefty splits against JP Sears, but now new bar's heading like 7th, so the odds tank to the under, and he's not on the board anymore. But I still really like that matchup, and I'm still feeling pretty good about it. But Jorge Soler, I am on the cast of people, I guess, who are fading Framber Valdez today, which I was initially just going to go with his under fantasy score because it's gotten bumped down 4 times today, but figured maybe a little late to the party. But with Jorge Soler, I want him against the lefty. He's hitting over 300 against them this season. I like that matchup too. He's like, I was going through stuff for my little cheat sheet, and he was one of the very few guys who I thought had any sort of BVP data that was worth anything today too. I think he was 3 of 8, good quality of contact, 3.48. I don't know why I said it like that, but I like his matchup a lot today. And when he's up for this prop, it's been working out pretty well. So I'm rolling with that today.
Fair enough. Yeah, I wanted to take the Marlins too, but I was like,
kind
of feels, it gave me the same vibes as Scooble versus Sale. Remember that game like a couple of days ago where the Tigers were the plus 120 dog, and it was like, and then the Red Sox just kind of beat the shit out of them. Kind of reminds me of that one. But you're not taking Marlins money line, are you?
I'm taking the over.
Taking the over, which I don't hate at all.
Yeah, which I got at 7.5. By the time I was going to come on here, it was already 8. So I was like, leave it off. But still rolling with that. Still feel good about the bats. Marlins bats.
More plays? New bar. Oh, no, he already talked about new bar. Yeah, he already talked about new bar.
Yeah.
Javon, classic. Bring it on winners. See if you stay in first.
Yeah, I know. I've been Major Matt's dropping 5 units every single day. You can be up or down.
It's going to be fun. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Elmo, I'm being honest. We were going to fall off a bit in September from Thrasher on his Orioles. Yeah. Sorry, what? Yes. So that's why I said at the beginning of the show, only take it if you really like it, right? It got bumped down. Right? I still love the matchup. I'm still playing it at 7.5. It's still locked in for me. If you don't like it, don't play it. Right? If a bump scares you off, don't play it. But based on the matchup perspective, like I said, Grayson's got real issues against lefties. 950 OPS against left-handed hitters. He's going to throw Soto a lot of fastballs and changeups. That's been his way to try and get out lefties. Soto's favorite pitch to hit in all of baseball is the right-handed changeup. Right? Gets his arms extended, goes the opposite way. I think he has a good day today. The matchup is screaming for it. Could not hit. It's baseball, right? But I want to play one of the best hitters alive in a matchup that I think is golden for him. So that'll do it. That'll do it for the for the show. Just a couple of picks today. Remember, short Monday slate, but we had the 4 horsemen up at the top. We had Javon, Gino, mid-major Matt, and Ollie half unit. Commonly referred to as Ollie 1 unit, but he is half unit plays today. Pete, look at my tweet about Max Fried walks. All right, hold on. Javon. Max Fried is 1.5 allowed. 1.5 walks allowed square up today. And when you look at the combo walk squares, there's a lot of Yankees. See, I don't know shit about the combo squares. Stanton, Glaber, and Volpe are all on there. That's interesting. I just don't know shit about the combined walk square. Pete, who do you think wins the Marlins game? I mean, if you force me to take a bet, I would take the Marlins. But I'm not gonna. I'm not fading the Astros right now. Pete, who's your home run pick? I'm going with Brandon Drury today. So, my client Jake is taking the decision not to bet today. Oh, that's funny. It's interesting. Not today. All right, ladies and gents. Appreciate you. Remember, if you want to play these prize picks entries and you're new, code just baseball. Same thing on BetMGM to get all those bonus bets right. More bonus bets coming Wednesday and Saturday. Love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Good luck. Best of luck out there. Do we want to raid anybody? Is there anybody you guys want to raid? Pete, favorite play in Coors? I thought about playing the Rockies money line, but I just hate Chris Flexen. I think the under is the best bet in Coors today. The one reason I didn't play it, Merrill Kelly left his last start with an injury. Flexen is terrible, but I do like playing first game where both teams arrive in Coors the under. The only issue is I'm not a fan of the 2 starting pitchers today at all. So we'll see what happens. But my favorite bet in that game would be the under. Betting News has 8 people watching. Do we want to go to them? Gold Boys Network? Anybody else we want to raid, or should we just end it? Do you guys want to go watch Fortnite? What do we want here? What do we want here? Nothing. All right. Well, then we're not going to raid shit. We're not going to raid shit if you guys don't give me ideas. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. We just got to remember, though. Producer Cone. We got to remember. It's not gambling advice. Peace out, everybody. Good luck.